lots of Bulls news has been coming out today, from everything from the draft to free agents and a lot of stuff in between, even trades. Lots of Bulls news, information, everything has just been surfacing today. I'm not exactly sure why, but I wanted to cover it today. I know I just did a video yesterday regarding the Bulls' top potential free agents, but with everything that's been coming out, I think this is something that I need to jump on right away and have a conversation with you guys, because in a matter of a couple days to a week, all of this stuff could be irrelevant because it could have already occurred, or we might be past the point where it can occur. But if this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy this content, give me a like. If you enjoy this channel and you're coming back on a daily basis anyways, why not subscribe? Because I have daily NFL, NHL, and NBA content. But let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into this. The Bulls. Lots and lots of news, and I do have it up on my phone, so if you see me glance down at my phone right here, that is what's going on. So the first bit of news is in regards to Zach LaVine and free agency. It is currently, so far, expected via Jake L. Fisher and a couple other sources that Zach LaVine is likely to return to the Bulls organization and re-sign with the team when free agency does start. Now, there was reports that he was looking to kind of fish around in free agency and see what he was fully capable of getting paid, but it seems that he really enjoys the way that the Bulls are heading in regards to the team itself and building around him and just building around a championship contending team, as well as he likes the money that's going to be paid. Now, he will be paid the most by the Bulls in the longest term contract, about 5-year, a little bit over $200 million at a max contract. No other team can pay that much except for the Bulls. And, I think for a long time, a lot of people already thought that Zach was going to return, but there were some worries with some of the Lakers stuff coming out and he wants to test free agency stuff. But I think it's starting to slow down, and we're only a couple weeks away. I think we're about 9 days away from the draft, and then free agency starts almost immediately after that. And the reports that Zach LaVine may be and is most likely returning to the Bulls is great news. Takes a lot of pressure off of the Bulls, and I will be doing a video if or when it occurs, when Zach LaVine re-signs with the team, on what it means for the team. But just a quick quick little synopsis of what it does mean for Zach in regards to what will happen before he signs is, if there's reports and the team agrees that Zach LaVine is coming back to the team, you don't have to worry about picking up a guard in free agency, or not in free agency, well, also in free agency, but in the draft. You're not worried about going out and getting a shooting guard in the draft or pressured into doing it. You don't have to go get a guard in free agency and pay big dollars to try and get somebody at the same level as Zach or downgrade. And also, it allows you to move Coby White, who had the possibility to step in Zach's position if Zach LaVine were to leave the team. But you can move Coby with a couple other options to get a better player or better pick. And speaking of Coby and speaking of picks, another report are the Bulls are actively discussing the number 18 pick and Coby White to move up with teams, or just to have a trade with teams. Now, you may use Coby and that pick to go get a different player. For example, I've seen some reports of Miles Turner. I've seen some reports of using that pick to go get DeAndre Ayton, to go get Rudy Gobert. But he could also, Coby White probably is enough to be able to move you to number 12 or so. Right now they're at 18. You could probably move about 6 picks or so up using Coby White and the number 18th overall pick, which would be, pretty solid. That puts you in a range of a lot of other people that you're just barely out of the range of. Plenty of good talent that is outside of that top 5. In the top 3, it's like these guys are really good, and I feel like pick 4 through like 6, 4 through 8 is like really question marks. You don't know exactly who you're gonna get, but once you get to like pick 8 to like 20, there's still some pretty solid talent that maybe if you wait another year or something, there'd be a top 10 pick, be a top 5 pick, and moving up for using Coby White, moving up in the draft, or using Coby White and a pick to go get a different player could be very, very good and useful for this team. Now, a couple options, like I brought up, you go get DeAndre Ayton, you go get Rudy Gobert. You could go get a couple people more. You get Clint Capella, you could probably go get if you wanted, although I think that might be too much to go get Clint Capella up that pick, and Coby White I think would be too much to go get Clint Capella. But there's a lot of options. OG Adenobly, oh my God, I probably butchered that name. But there's plenty of options if you do want to use him to get a player, or you just move up in the draft and you put yourself in a better position to go get a better player. Whether that's a forward, center, EJ Liddell's likely not going to fall all the way to 18, but he could. Maybe you really are high on him and you move up in the draft and you go get him. Now, another report in regards to trades for the Bulls is the Bulls are currently exploring the trade market for Nikola Vucevic. So that tells you a couple things. For one, that likely means that you have your eyes set on bringing in a different center. No matter who that is, I'm not sure. Maybe you even go to free agency. Like I said, I made a video about free agency yesterday, some of the top picks. If you want, you can go check that out. But that also could mean that you're going to trade Vooch for a center. And I already brought up a couple options there. But it just really opens the floor a lot. Although I do like Vooch a lot, I don't think he's what this team needs at the moment. I think the team needs a dog in that post, or someone really good on defense that can bring some good defensive help down the post and still be good on that pick and roll, because this team does really love that pick and roll. Not only with DeMar, but also Zach LaVine really enjoys using that pick and roll. So moving on from Vooch, maybe you move on to somebody that's not as great as a perimeter shooter, but you don't really need that. Also, you could possibly keep your pick or move up, and you move Vooch for, who knows, a power forward and draft a center, or you get a center and then you draft a power forward, or any number of things, or you just go for best available, which is still a good option here. Now, Walker Kessler is pretty much Rudy Gobert 2.0. He can play that center position. Maybe you trade Vooch for a power forward and then hope that Kessler falls to you and pick him up for that center position, who plays a very good defense side of the ball and maybe doesn't score a lot, but he definitely can develop into a scoring threat. Now, there was not a ton of news, and I will be honest, it's a pretty slow day, and I didn't have a video planned. I was almost going to skip today, but I think this stuff was pretty good information. Now, another report is the Bulls are showing interest in Vasilije Mikic. Guys, I'm so bad with names. I'm so bad. And let me explain why I'm so bad with names. Because when I plan a video, I always type it out, and I'm like, I'm going to search that name right before I do it. And then I don't forget, and then I'm reading, and I see the name, and I go, oh, I guess I'm just going to try. That's exactly what happens every single time. And that's why I butcher names all the time. But, yeah. Nonetheless. And you know what? Since we're already doing this video, why not? Let's just go to the Chicago Bulls community tab on Twitter, which is a group that I'm in, and I would highly recommend you joining and just kind of look through some of the things going on. Zach LaVine is expected to re-sign with Chicago Bulls. Very good news. Per Jake L. Fisher. I think that's what I already said earlier. Great news. What would we think about Coby White and number 18 pick for Miles Turner? Ooh. So let's think about Miles Turner. Miles Turner, honestly, is a pretty good option. Good shot blocker. He can still score for you a decent amount. Maybe I just worry about the injuries. You worry about him getting injured and then being useless to you. Is the 18 pick and Coby too much? I think it's close. Honestly, when he's healthy, I think that's not a bad trade. But with where it sits right now, I think that is a little bit of a worry. Let's look at some of the comments. Duncan Robinson, I think that's bad. I think that's really bad. Duncan Robinson is, and Coby White and the 18 pick for Duncan Robinson? No. And especially for how much he costs. I didn't even think about that. Miles Turner would be on the bench if you don't trade Vooch. unless you're running him at power forward, which I guess you could run and then move Pete Will to that bench spot. I don't really hate that. I don't hate that. I don't think there's a whole lot going on at Bulls, except for everyone being a big fan of what's been going on. What position should the Bulls target in the draft? Someone did a poll on this. Big one, 56%. You know, since we're talking about sports, and we're talking about basketball, and I talked about the Bulls, I just want to do a quick little, and maybe you guys might click off this. Let's talk about the Warriors-Celtics last night. That game was insane. It was so enjoyable. This series has been really enjoyable, but none of the games have been super close, and last night's game really gave you that. You got a little bit of everything from everyone. Jaylen Brown, definitely not Zach LaVine, we can point that out, but Jason Tatum he really stepped up his game there. Jordan Poole looks like the new form of Steph Curry at this rate. Draymond Green, still kind of annoying, but he definitely played a little bit better last night, at least from a visual standpoint. And it was just a really, really good game. And I really thought the Celtics were going to, make it tighter. I think I predicted Warriors by 4 points. It ended up being a 10-point game, but it was still a really good game. So, but, that's going to be the end of the video. It was kind of just talking about Bulls news. But if you enjoyed this video, give me a like. If you enjoy this channel, why not subscribe? I have daily NFL, NHL, and NBA news. As always, though, hope taught something today. Hope made you smile. Hope made you laugh. Someone's really important to me. Affect someone else's life in a great way, because every day can be a great day if we put in the effort. And as always, you guys all be safe out there.
But something deep inside won't let